Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Amanda Nicole and this is Freedom Through Divorce with Amanda Nicole. If you're an old subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and for being patient with me as I have been MIA for a little while. I want to kind of give you guys an update on kind of what's going on with me. I am in a season right now where God is kind of taking me through some things because they're related to the call that I have on my life. And so one of the many things that he has instructed me to do is that, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the 7 Mountain Mandate, but if you haven't, you really do need to look it up. But as a part of the 7 Mountain Mandate, one of the mountains that I am called to bring down is the mountain of government, and specifically the family court system, the family law system. I have been dealing with that system for 2 years now, and I am at a place right now where the warfare is just really heavy because God is getting ready to bring breakthrough. And so I have been focusing on that because I have twofold, right? I have to personally deal with the system for my own personal victory in my family, but then I also have to the decisions that I make and the moves that I make, the things that I do, I have a mandate from God to make sure that they're bringing other families out as well. So I have to be very strategic. I have to be very cognizant of hearing God and doing what he says and making sure that I'm not just, trying to get out of the system myself without considering the other men and women of God that are in the system that are trying to fight for their children. And so I'm going to be talking about that for a little while here on this channel, just because God has given me several words dealing with that. And that's what I'm currently dealing with right now. And I know a lot of you have had your own journeys as well. But we're just in a time and a season right now where it's like with the children of Israel right before they got ready to cross the Red Sea, things got worse. If you think about the Hebrew boys when they were thrown in the fire, if you think about, all of the times when right before a great move of God, the enemy just acted a plumb fool. And so that's where we're at right now. And it's not just with the court system, it's with all 7 mountains. All 7 mountains are just, everything is breaking loose. Things are cray, and the people of God have got to stand. This is our chance to stand where God has been speaking to us. He's given us things to do, and we have put works with our faith. But now it's our turn to just stand and to just watch and see what God's going to do. And so that can be very difficult. It's one thing when you've got, a game plan and you've got things that you're supposed to be doing, but it's a completely different thing when you've done all the stuff you're supposed to be doing and you're just waiting on God to manifest his power. That can be a very difficult place to be in. It can be very hard to maintain your faith, and it can be very hard to keep your words speaking faith, right? So that's one of the reasons why God has kind of brought me on here to encourage you and to tell you kind of what's going on behind the scenes as somebody who operates in the prophetic. And so one of the things I'm going to start with, I don't know how I'm going to splice this video up, but basically at some point you will see a prophetic word that God gave me about the family court systems in terms of his strategy to take the court system down. You will see that I basically read that because I didn't want to, I record on my phone, and so I also do some of my prophetic words on my phone. So I can't read the prophetic words and record at the same time. So I read it as an audio and just kind of put the words in there. So, but you guys will see that and hear that before this video. So that's important. You need to watch that video before you watch this video, because everything that I'm going to be speaking about going forward, you will need to keep in mind the fact that, God is taking the system down. But one of the things that it needs to be emphasized from that is that God's anger at that system. And one of the things that I have been able to see personally with being in it is that we're dealing with a spirit of Baal. We are dealing with, it's kind of like with narcissism. If you've ever dated a narcissist and then you have to divorce that narcissist, the hardest thing for you to do is to realize just how vicious it is. To realize that somebody is actually that hateful and vicious, and, make it to where you change the way you interact with that person and you deal with that person, because you really, as a believer, you are taught to treat people with respect and, love people and things like that. And so when you're dealing with the narcissist and it's such a vicious spirit, it's very difficult for you to realize, okay, I'm dealing with the demon. I'm dealing with the devil. I cannot treat this person like a believer, right? Because, you have to separate the person from the spirit, but you, at the same time, you've got to have that righteous anger, and you've got to deal with that spirit, right? So it's very difficult to turn the switch off, to transition from, I have to treat them like I would want to be treated, to this person means me harm and I have to govern myself accordingly, right? And so that's basically what is happening, is that a lot of people in the family court system, up until this point, have just really felt like, judges, they just, they don't know any better. They're trying to make decisions in one day and they don't know your life and things like that. We are past that. Okay. We're not there. This is that spirit of Baal. This system has been created specifically to steal children and to offer them on the altar of Baal. The system has been created to destroy children's lives at any way possible. Okay, all arms of the system, whether it's protective services, whether it's the court system, all legs of that system are used specifically by the enemy to destroy the lives of children. That's where we're at. We are not at, they don't know any better. The people that work in there, they're good people. This is, the system itself was created to destroy children. And that's where we're at. And the people who want the best for those children, they've been moved out a long time ago. They've been moved out. And so the people that are left are those that either can be easily controlled to, carry out that agenda, meaning they don't know any better. They, and when I say they don't know any better, I mean, I don't mean that they have a good heart and they don't know any better. I mean, they don't know any better as in they don't know how bad the agenda is, but they do know what they're doing is wrong. Okay. There's a difference there. So they know what they're doing is wrong. They know something isn't right. They know the system is broken, but they're just like, well, it is what it is. That's basically where they're at. Okay. It's not that they don't know. It's not that they are gung ho and they really believe in the system. They know the system's broken. Okay. But they're still there. Okay. So it's either them or it's those that are completely on board with the agenda and they know exactly what the system is doing and they're like, hooray, let's do it. So these are the people that you have left in this system. And so God's very angry with that because he loves his children. He loves his children. And so when you have a system that is, if you look at in scripture, every single time God did something to destroy a city or, even when he destroyed the world, the very thing that they were doing was they were abusing children. They were offering children on the altar of Baal, okay? And so that's what this is. That entire system is offering children on the altar of Baal, whether it's, in the divorce situation, whether it's in, foster care. That entire system is created to destroy the lives of children, okay? So God is very angry with that, and he has a plan to bring that system down because he's heard the cries of his children. He's heard the cries of their parents who are tired of being bullied by the system, and he has said enough is enough. So he has a plan to bring that system down. So what I want to do is to start to share with you some of the teaching that God has been giving me on what we're looking at and what we're dealing with, because it's going to take the prayers of the righteous. If you are dealing with this system, or you have dealt with this system and you know how bad it is, we need your prayers, because there are a lot of movements out there that are looking to reform the system, and we've done that. We've tried that. There have been so many reforms, it's not even funny. This is not a reformation time. This is a tear it down and rebuild it. Okay, that's where we're at. And so there have been a lot of us who have gotten disgusted and frustrated with the system, and we've decided, let's try to change it, and we are past that. So we are praying now for it to come completely down. That's what we're praying for, because that's the will of God. We want to pray the will of God. If we expect things to happen and we expect change to be seen, we have to pray the will of God. Hey guys, well, it's finally here. You guys have been asking for it. A lot of you guys have reached out to me and said that the courses in the school were a little bit too expensive for you to be able to afford at this time, and that you would like to have some resources that are a little more bite-sized and that are a little bit more economical. So the Freedom Through Divorce School has released a Freedom Through Divorce store. So I have some downloadable products in the store that will help you be able to interact with the Freedom Through Divorce brand. Little small things to help you discover whether or not divorce is God's will for you, to be able to move on and heal post-divorce, to be able to get some resources to feed your spirit so that you can really understand what God is saying concerning the subject of divorce. So if you are looking for a product that is on the subject of divorce and that is biblical and that you can just consume at a faster rate and that at a more economical rate than the Freedom Through Divorce courses, then definitely check out the Freedom Through Divorce store. Click the link in the description.